Good morning. I am Jack Van Ryn, Mayor of the Town of Coaldale. I will be giving you an update from our regular council meeting that was held Monday, May 9th, 2022. And the first item of business that we discussed was regarding the Civic Square outdoor space project. So the new building that's being built on Main Street by Shift Real Estate, the bottom floor is going to be used for retail space, and the top floor will be the new Town of Coaldale Administration Building. And in behind there, between the building and the library, that is going to be known as the Civic Square. And in that space, we are going to have a parking lot directly behind the building. And then to the west of that, we have a outdoor plaza, if for lack of a better term, that we're going to be developing. And the Town of Coaldale applied for a federal grant that we were successful in. We received $750,000, and the grant was based on doing an outdoor space that includes a skating rink. So we're looking at doing an outdoor skating rink that's 70% the size of a normal rink compared to the one that we have at the Coaldale Sportsplex. And council discussed previously and again last night at the council meeting when it comes to what we want to see in that space. So besides a ice surface, we had discussions regarding whether or not we're going to have hockey there as well. And because of our winters that we have here, we can have cold weather, then we have Chinooks, and you know how ice will not stand up to our weather. So this one, we discussed putting in refrigeration, so it would have an ice plant, so that even on Chinooky days, we'll have perfect ice to skate on. And that would include family skates and again, hockey if we decide to do that. So based on this grant, Town of Coaldale's commitment to receive that $750,000 is that we need to put in $250,000 ourselves. So last night, as part of the discussion, the following motion was passed: that council directs administration to proceed with detailed civil design of the Civic Square outdoor space, and for this design to include the requisite rough-ins for an outdoor skating rink with the intent of installing HVAC chiller unit in a future phase or at a time directed by council. Further, that council direct administration to host public engagement activities for the purpose of determining what programming opportunities are the priority within the space, and further approve the Town of Coaldale's requirement to fund a minimum of 25% of the total project cost of $250,000 to maximize the funding received through the Canada Community Revitalization Grant for $750,000. Finally, that administration bring back to council additional information about what an ice chiller system will cost as part of the 2023 capital budget deliberations in November 2022. So at the bare minimum, what we want to do as part of this first phase is to install the refrigeration lines in the concrete pad. So that way, if and when council determines that they want to do a ice chiller in the future, then they will have it roughed in, and that will go a long ways to having to redo things that end up costing more money. And then also we discussed putting a roof over it or a canopy top so that we can maximize the usage of the outdoor rink. And when the rink is closed for the season during the summer months, that concrete pad, we're looking at hosting events such as our newly rebranded Coaldale Summerfest. We can do farmers markets, we can do food trucks, we can do concerts, we can do movie nights, we can do festivals, beer gardens, we can host a show and shine, and we can do miscellaneous sports events. So it'll be a well-used town meeting space in behind the new town office building. So that was quite exciting to hear that. And we're looking forward to administration coming back with the next proposal regarding the Civic Square. Then we had representatives from FWBA Architects, Jesse Potry and Dan Westwood, regarding the clay berm that's situated between the joint high school and the rec center and the phase 2A Malloy drainage pond. So if you were to drive down 16th Ave and you see where the new high school is being built, between that school and rec center, there's quite a large clay berm that is between the school rec center and the east storm pond or wetland. And there was discussions during the design of the new school rec center that there was going to be a large V cut through that berm to give a sight line from the school to the wetlands. So in other words, if you're sitting outside on the patio of the school and the kids are having their lunch, they can look to the east through this cut in the berm to view the wetlands that are approximately, I'm going to say, a good 300 feet away. And there was quite a few residents that were against this. And on the campaign on the campaign trail, most if not all of council members were talked to regarding this berm and that it needs to stay to give more privacy to the wetlands for the wildlife that frequents the wetlands and people that walk the pathways that go around that wetland, so that to keep a physical barrier between that and the new school and the rec center. So after a long discussion, council voted unanimously to leave the berm as is. So that will satisfy many residents, including members of council, that wanted that berm to stay, again, to keep a privacy wall, if you want to call it that, between the wetlands and the new school rec center. Then we had a report from our Director of Operational Services, Justin McPherson, regarding our solid waste report. So there was some questions asked by members of council regarding the black bin, and currently you only get the black bin picked up every 2 weeks. And there was some comments made to members of council that that's not enough. They want to get weekly pickup of the black bin. But of course that comes with a price tag. So Justin did a good job presenting to council what those costs were going to be. And there's a couple different ways that we can do it, is to just increase everybody's garbage collection fee $2 a month across the board. So every household in Coaldale would get that $2 increase, which is unfair because there are many people that don't need that. There are many people that are doing their best at recycling, and I'm sure everybody is doing their best at recycling. But at the end of the day, that $2 over a course of a year for people on fixed income makes it difficult. So a compromise to that was that for people that want to have their garbage picked up more often, in other words, the black bin, we're going to change the bylaw to allow for people to have a second black bin. And for that to work, it'll cost that family $100 to get the extra black bin. And then there'll be a monthly fee of $14.75 to have that extra bin picked up, so that you'll have 2 black bins and you'll have double the capacity. And this will be for people that feel the need, that they need the second bin. So this would be an easy fix for those families. And then at the same time, it takes the pressure off of people on fixed incomes where they can't afford to pay that extra $2 a month for pickup. So that's going to be coming back to council in 2 weeks. And once we pass that, we're going to be doing a social media blitz, and then also in our local paper, Sunny South News, about how this is all going to work before we roll it out. And then we had a delegation by appointment. We had Melanie Hartorn, and she was at council last night to discuss the Coaldale Healthcare Center. And The concerns that Melanie had were twofold. One being currently it's being used as a long-term care facility, and it's at maximum capacity. It's in a case right now where when it used to be a hospital, the rooms meant for one person currently have two long-term residents in these small little rooms. And I liked how she put it at the very end of her presentation is the true measure of a society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable. Let's give our seniors a place to call home. So this long-term care facility needs to be upgraded. The projected increase in continuing care is projected to increase by 62% by 2030. And we are already at maximum capacity at the Coaldale Healthcare Center. And another concern she brought up was the poor condition of the building itself. She actually had photos and videos where maintenance staff has large garbage cans with catch basins and tarps catching rain that's coming through the roof in multiple locations throughout the building. And it's been like that for years. And she showed us, again, photos and videos, and it was just happening last week where the roof was leaking. So that's a serious concern for town council. And we're going to be meeting with our MLA Grant Hunter next week, Monday. And we're going to spend some time on the topic of the Coaldale Healthcare Center. Not only with the long-term portion of it, the condition of the building, and also we want to get our hospital back to having urgent care. It'll never be an emergency department like we used to have previously, but the long-term, the facility as far as the urgent care component to it needs to return, because right now, if you need to go to the Coaldale Hospital, there's nothing they can do for you. They send you either to Lethbridge, Tabor, or Raymond to the emergency department. And we're almost reaching 9,000 people, so that is so unfair to our residents. So we're going to, again, meet with Grant Hunter, our MLA, and we're going to discuss that further because we need to get this back to the way that it used to be. Then we had our planner, Melanie Messier, bring two, like an area structure plan and a rezoning bylaw for a new industrial park that's going to be built just north of Coaldale and west of our current industrial park. So as part of the area structure plan that the town's been working on, there was one landowner that wanted to pull out of that area structure plan, and that's the most southerly portion of land, which town and council agreed to. So we had second and third reading to pass the amended area structure plan, and then we also had second and third reading for a rezoning bylaw for the same piece of property. Then we had our CFO, Kyle Beauchamp. He gave us a review of a property tax bylaw, and we're going to be setting taxes here in the near future for residential and non-residential. And as part of last night's discussion, a motion was made that there will be no increase in the residential tax. However, that council increased the non-residential tax rate only in order to balance the budget. So the residential we're going to leave, and the non-residential, which most people don't know on the street, like we are over 50% less in non-residential tax rate than the city of Lethbridge. So we are going to adjust the non-residential tax rate in order to balance the budget. Then we had another discussion by our CFO, Kyle, regarding a borrowing bylaw. And basically that is to give the town of Coaldale a line of credit with the BMO for $4 million. And that's only in case we have something that we need to get bridge financing for on short notice. Coaldale by no means is not in any financial difficulty at all, and all this is for is in case we have investments that are locked up and we are not able to quickly access any cash that we need to gap between billing periods. So again, this $4 million line of credit was passed last night, and that will only be used in emergency situations. And before it can be used, it needs to come back to council for approval first. So council have the final say if and when this gets used. Then we had a presentation by our Director of Community Policing, Mark Anderson, and that was regarding a dog control memorandum of understanding with the Coaldale Pet Clinic. So currently, if we have a stray dog that is picked up in Coaldale, we used to take it to Lethbridge Animal Services, and they would care for the animal until we were able to find the owner. And if we couldn't find the owner, then it would be adopted out. They have canceled that contract with the town of Coaldale, and they're currently reviewing it, but we need to do something temporarily. So we were in discussions with the Coaldale Pet Clinic, and we have agreed on a memorandum of understanding that if a stray dog is picked up, that we can take it to the Coaldale Pet Clinic. The vets there will take a look at the animal to make sure that is healthy, and if it is, they will hold it up to 1 day until our CPOs can find the owner, and also the CPOs will look after the dog themselves during business hours. And then we've also formed a committee that we're going to be looking at something long-term, made in Coaldale solution, as far as having a place to keep stray dogs. So this is just a temporary measure, and the memorandum of understanding was passed last night. So that will be going into effect here in the next few weeks. And it's going to work very well. We have a couple of citizen members that have already volunteered to temporarily foster the dogs as well until we're able to find the owners. Then we had a report from our Director of Recreation and Community Services, Russ Tanner, regarding the Southern Alberta Summer Games 2022. And Coaldale is going to be participating. It's going to be spread out through different municipalities in Southern Alberta. And Coaldale is going to be hosting pickleball, baseball, and cribbage. So Russ gave us an update on that, and you'll see further information regarding that on our social media. Then Russ also gave us an update on the Recreation and Community Services update. And that particular report had to do with the different facilities in Coaldale that have been worked on. So the large project highlights include the Alberta Transportation Lot. So that's right to the east of the town office, parallel to the highway. You'll see that new green space that was put in there. The mountain bike park, the Gem of the West Museum foundation repair, the new refrigeration floor and dasher boards at the arena, and the quads complex automated irrigation system upgrade, the recreation center construction update, and the Coaldale Strong fundraising campaign update. And as part of this brief that I'm doing here today, in the comment section, I'll have a link where you can go into more depth on these topics that I just discussed. Then we had an update from Councillor Dale Pickering regarding he's the council rep on South Grove, and he gave us a very in-depth update. Again, you can look at that. I'll have the video link from our council meeting so you can watch everything that was discussed. And then we passed a motion to send a letter to the Alberta Utilities Commission regarding the unsustainable costs when it comes to natural gas and power for our residents. So that was passed last night to send a letter. And basically that's it. That was the extent of our meeting. And again, I will have my contact information at the end of this video, my phone number, my email. I'm always available. Please give me a call, send me an email. If you see me on the street, stop me and I'll have a discussion with you, go for coffee. And same goes with all the other members of council. We're very approachable, and it's important that you do reach out to us. So again, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you on the street. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.